Okay. So this will be our webinar plan for today. We will look through the introduction to the financial reporting requirements. We will discuss the types of costs and respective supporting documents. We'll overview financial reporting form structure, and then we will fill out the form itself, which will serve you as an example how you will need it to do it at your end when you will need to report us by the end of your project. Okay, so introduction to the financial reporting requirements. First of all, let's begin with why financial reporting is such an essential part of our collaboration. Financial reporting is not just a formality, it is a core requirement that ensures the transparency, credibility, and accountability of how project funds are used. One of the main approaches to consider is that during the project implementation, as well as when preparing reports or engaging in other interactions with ECOM subgrants, you must adhere to the terms of the agreement and the subrecipient's manual, which was provided to you in the subagreement package when we sent out it to you for the signatures. So every one of you should normally have it. This is the primary regulatory document for reporting and project implementation in general. So why is the financial reporting important? First of all, it ensures transparency and accountability on the fund usage. When you submit accurate and complete reports, it shows clearly how ECOM's fund were spent, and it confirms that expenditures follow the approved work plan and budget outlined in your subgrant agreement. Second, your financial reports directly influence the tranche disbursements. ECOM can only transfer the next tranche after your report is checked and approved. According to the manual, at least 80% of previous tranche must be spent before the new disbursement is released. The other reason is that it's a donor requirement because ECOM includes your report in donor reports. ECOM regularly submit financial and programmatic information to the donor, and your reports are the foundation for that. If your report is late or incomplete, this affects the entire chain of reporting. Okay, what do you need to consider while preparing the financial report? Let's look at the several key principles that you must follow. First of all, this is the cash basis accounting, which means that expenses are reported only when the money actually leaves your bank account. So when you actually pay. Not when an invoice is issued or received by you, or not when the goods or services are just received, but only when you pay for them. Those payments must be fully completed within the reporting period. Reported expenses should be incurred within the project period. This means that any payments which falls outside this timeline cannot be considered as eligible. And therefore, if you see that you, for some justified reasons, you have left some of the payments in scope of the project, you can request from ECOM about the possibility of the project period prolongation, and we shall review your request. Is it possible or not? Also, it's a must that all expenses should be documented. Every single expense must be supported with proper documentation. invoices, contracts, payment orders, bank statements, and etc. Should be provided along with the filled out reporting form. We should talk about those documents later. Missing documents or documents that do not match the payment will lead to queries and delays in the process. And the last important point is that supporting documents must be submitted in the required manner. If documents are in your national language, they need to be translated into English or Russian as the manual specifies. So ECOM can review them correctly and use them in donor reporting. What do you need to submit? For each reporting period, you must submit the financial report using the template provided by ECOM. You should not modify the reporting structure. You should not modify or change any formulas which you will find in the form or change any of the categories. You only need to enter your data where indicated. Supporting documents for all expenditure together with the financial report must be submitted. Invoices, statements, payment orders, and so on. Anything else that applies to the specific cost. And as said before, the translations into English or Russian are required where necessary because this helps us to understand the document if it's in some kind of different language. It helps us to understand what's written inside to ensure its credibility and compliance with the reported expense. Please note that even if you had no expense during the reporting period, you still must submit a so-called zero report. This means that the report will be empty, but still you need to submit it. Now let's discuss what kind of costs might incur during your implementation of the activities and what kind of respective supporting documents might apply to them. But before we switch to the description of the types of expenditures, the procurement procedures should be mentioned first. So once again, you will find those procurement procedures in your subrecipient's manual under Article 4.3. This procedure generally applies to the procurement of goods, works, or services, including services from experts. The purchase is carried out in accordance with competitive procurement procedures, following the limit as specified on the right. So you see here the table, you see here the limits, and if the price of the service or goods you want to buy falls into one of these range, you should follow up with the requirements noted on the right side of this table. I will just add to this table a small clarification regarding the purchases of small items, such as, for example, stationery or utilities or printing materials, bank charges. So here we usually do not request proposals from suppliers, of course. But if the amount is above like 500 euros or more, and it concerns the experts, the trainers, the consultants, then we still request the justification for the choice made. A procurement committee could be formed within the organization depending on the specifications of the goods and services needed. Those involved in the procurement process must keep an open and competitive practices throughout the process. The procurement process includes the following steps. So normally you identify the need for goods or services. Then you gather the information, like you are searching for a vendor or a consultant who can satisfy your requirements. And then you make a decision on the approach on vendor or consultant. Is it competitive bidding or do you need a direct acquisition? Then you prepare the protocol where this selection basis is mentioned. Then you follow up with the contracting. All procurement of goods, works, or services should be covered within an approved budget. This you need also to keep in mind. Okay, now let's move to the supporting documents for the expenses. First of all, I would like to mention that supporting documents must be maintained for 7 years from the date of submission of the final expenditure report. The following documents are required to confirm subrecipient's expenses. In case of staff salary, we need to see complete documentation that shows the hiring, the work completed, and the actual payment to ensure that project staff were legally engaged, worked as planned, and they were paid correctly. So, employment contract shows the person is officially engaged in the project. Payroll records, this is a document confirming salary and taxes amounts and the calculation of the salaries generally. Timesheet, this is a document showing the actual working hours, considering the involvement percentage, which normally you have in your budget. Payment orders, this is a document showing details of a particular bank payment. And the bank statement, this is a list of all bank payments of all bank transactions during a certain period of time. Normally, this period of time is reporting period. Started with the first day of the period, ending with the last day of the reporting period. For the consultants and volunteers, the documentation is equally important and procurement rules apply. So what you need to provide is procurement report that I spoke about above, the selection protocol, the tender documentation, if it's applicable, contracts for consultant services, terms of reference, which are describing the assignment, invoices, acceptance certificates, confirming provision and completion of the services, payment orders and bank statements, as I have already mentioned in the staff salary section. For the program activities, such as workshops, trainings, community meetings, the documentation focuses on both the activity itself and the payments. These documents demonstrate that the activity took place as planned and that the related costs were paid accordingly. So the documents might be program of the event estimates, list of participants. This is a list with the signatures of the participants proving that they attended the meeting, the event. Invoices from different service providers for organizing this event, the payment orders, bank statements. For the equipment purchases, if it's eligible in scope of your project, like for example, laptops or printers or projectors or furniture or something other, the procurement requirements also apply. Into supporting documents, you must include procurement report, comparison of price offers, tender documentation, invoices, delivery notes, payment orders. In some cases, we might inquire photos of the goods that or the inventory you purchased, and bank statements. For the administrative expenses, the documents typically include contracts, like for example, for rent, for insurance, for cleaning services, etc. The invoices, the advance report if cash advances were used to cover the expenses, the rent calculations, which should show the portion charged to the project. And here it is referred to the cost allocation forms. And normally the cost allocation form is the form used for the shared expenses. This is when you share some kind of expense between different several projects. So the administrative expenses might be also utilities. You also provide the proof of the payment, which is payment orders and bank statements. So since administrative costs are often shared across multiple projects, proper allocation documentation is especially important here. So in summary, every cost category requires a full set of supporting documents that confirm three things: that the expense was in scope of the project, that it follows the procurement and financial rules, showing all the mandatory information, and that it was actually paid from your project bank account. Now let's take a look at the financial reporting form, and first of all, of its structure. And here I already will share with you the form for the financial reporting itself. So the very first two sheets of the file, here you will find the guidelines how you should fill out the form. So this is instructions how you need to fill out this form. I advise you to read carefully all those instructions given here because it normally gives you all the directions of what to do and how to do. Then we have the summary report, and most of its part is filled out automatically. And all you need to do here is to fill out these fields like entering reporting period and date of the report submission, and if needed and if it's applicable to your particular case, just describe the variations above or below 10% of the budget. Next, we have 2 pages, or there might be just 1 page, or there might be more pages. It all depends on your particular budget. So how many periods are considered in your budget? How to fill out this form, this table, I will speak about it later. So then we have the section for other information where you need to insert the information about the tranches that you have received, disbursement received, and the information about its conversion. So this field is being filled out. If you are, if you doubt, like, do you need to fill this field or whichever, once again, you get back to the guidelines, and here we look into this section and you read here what you need to do on this list. Then we have cash flow reconciliation. And this is probably maybe the best part of the financial report form because here you have to do nothing at all. All the details and information here will be filled out automatically. And the last sheet that we have here is the register for the fixed assets that have been purchased in scope of the given project, which shows the details of the goods, of the inventory or the equipment that you have purchased. If you don't have such, you just don't fill it out and leave it empty the way it is. Okay, so now let's make an example and fill out briefly the report. But before we go to the filling out the report itself, let's look at the sample budget. And let's imagine that we have a project, and this is the project's work plan, what kind of activities are planned. We have 2 periods. We have cumulative budget here. We have detailed budget for the programmatic part here. And we have administrative expenses mentioned on this list. More or less, every one of you have the similar budgets based according to their structure. So we always have activity according to the work plan. This is the activities mentioned here in this part. We have detailed activities, which gives us the understanding about the expense in more details. the related cost category for it, and like unit cost, number of units, and the total for each budget line. And now let's assume, okay, let's go through the budget. So let's say that we have advocacy meetings with some local stakeholders, in the scope of which we are planning to have some kind of meeting, like advocacy roundtable. Let's say that we have planned on our project also the workshop on HIV prevention, and we also are providing this workshop and a small kind of training. And let's say that we planned some awareness campaign on access to medical services, for which we budgeted to prepare some media materials, for which we of course need the services from graphic designer. We need to print out then those materials, and we plan to promote this on social media. What we have on the admin side is office rent, some stationeries, some communication fees for the project staff, and bank commissions. And we have like 2 people, 2 staff involved in the project, like coordinator and accountant. Now let's say that this part is our bank statement. Let's say that project currency is euros, and your local currency, for example, is USD. So what we will see on the bank statement, the very first thing, maybe I need to make bigger. So let's say that this is your bank statement for the euros, this part. And here we will see the reception of the tranche. Then at some dates you made conversion in 2 parts. On this side, we will have like bank statement of each and every cost that incurred during the project. And based on these bank statements, we need now to make our financial report. So let's start. Yeah, so first of all, we go to the summary report and we choose for which period we are making this report. So first of all, we'll need to make the report for the first period. Here you need just to choose the respective period, and here you just manually enter the date on which you send to us your report. That's it. Then let's go to this section, other information. And first, what we need to enter is the information about the tranche that you received. So we need to enter the date of the tranche when you received it and the amount. So let's see what we have on the Euro statement. It tells us that on the 1st of May, so we put here the 1st of May, we received 5,000. We put it here. Then on the same day, it tells us that we made a conversion of 3,000 euros at a rate of 1.1. So we put here the date. We put here 3,000 euros, which we converted. We put the rate here, 1.1, and we choose the currency code of the local currency. So based on the first conversion, we received 3,300 USDs. Then we go to the list of expenditure. So we need to fill out this basic form. Now we go to the USD statement and we'll look into the expenses that we had during this period. So we had the stationery on this date, 3rd of May. Okay, so here you will have a drop window. From this, you just choose respective activities according to the work plan, you will always need to check what you have here on the budget. So the stationery you have under office procurement and supplies. So therefore you choose here office procurement and supplies. In the detailed activity, you will find here stationery. Like in the detailed description, you just manually put some more details like stationery for the office. So this part will be automatically filled out as you have just seen. Let's go back to the statement. Okay, so we have paid 30 USDs for this expense. We choose the currency here, will be USD. We choose the rate, and the amount in euros is automatically calculated. So you don't fill out this one. Following the same principle, we take out all those expenses. What we have, communication fees for the staff. So once again, it's utilities and office maintenance. Communication fees for the staff. Let's say, I don't know, internet costs for staff members. Once again, this part was automatically filled out, and we had here 40. This part I will fill out later because it will be the same. So in order to be quicker, I will first go through this commission. So please note that at this stage, I omit the bank commissions. You see that after every transaction, for instance, we had this bank commissions, but for a while, I mean, I don't input it like one by one. Okay, so then we have on the 10th, like this venue for the workshop for HIV prevention. So we had a workshop. We rented a venue in scope of this workshop. Renting a venue. So it costed us this amount. Next, we have this cost on the same date, refreshments. So we choose from here refreshments. I will not write quite along here in order to be quicker. So we paid for refreshments this amount. Then we had workshop supplies on the 15th of May in scope of the same activity. Okay, let's find it's workshop supplies. Okay, here, like stationery for the workshop, for which we paid 85 USD. Okay, next we have a trainer fee for the workshop on the 17th. So it's still the same. Trainer fee for 2 days. Here we are. Trainer on, for example, and this amount. Then we have paid to graphic designer to create a media content on the 20th, for example. And so we choose here the respective activity. It was awareness campaign. Here we find graphic designer, designer's fee, which is 275. Then we got to the end of the period and already have the salaries to be paid. Here, I would like to draw your attention to the following thing. So first of all, let's fill out. According to the budget, So for a while, I'll hide this page. According to the budget, we have a gross salary for coordinator, like it makes us 450 USD overall, and 320 for the accountant. So here I have already put the amount so that we see clearly already here. And out of this 450, we know that we have to pay 50 euro as tax and 400 as net salary. Out of 320 for the accountant, we have to pay 300 to the accountant and 20 euros for taxes. So we paid them directly 400 euros. So if we have the exchange rate like 1.1, we know that in the contract, normally it's not necessarily, but it's more comfortable that if you make a contract with these people, consider in the project currency at a term that you will pay the salaries to people in a national or local currency at the rate at which you made the conversion of the tranche. And this 400 euros will give us 440 USD. Likewise, for the accountant, we will have 330 USD, which is equivalent to 300 euros. And in total, we will have 70 euros of tax. And let's say that you paid it in one transfer. You did not make separate transfers to the tax office, but you made it in one payment. Which in USD made 77. So what we do now here, we make two similar lines in the report. And in detailed description, we just put that this is coordinator's salary for May. And that this other line will be coordinator's salary tax part. And here we will put 440, this thing. And out of this transaction, we assign in the report the respective portion for the taxes of the coordinator. So if it was 50 euros, it will make 55 USD. The same principle we follow for the accountant. So we choose here financial assistant. Here we will have an accountant. It will be the same once again. And accountant's salary for May. And it will be here accountant salary tax. So that when we check on our side, we clearly understand what are those amounts. And we'll have way less questions to you afterwards. So it will be 20 euros multiplied by the respective rate, and it will be 22 USDs. Okay. So by those transactions, we have input this expense, and this expense. Okay, let's move on. So now we have printing materials on 31st, on the last day of the project period. It was also in scope of awareness campaigns, printing materials. Printing flyers, for instance. We paid for it 350. Then we have paid to Facebook, for example, for the advertisement, awareness campaign, promotion on social media, and here we say that it was Facebook advertisement in May. And we put respective amount. Okay, the last one that we paid during this first period is office rent. So here we have it. And office rent for May 2025. It was like 400 USD. Okay, and the last thing we have left is the bank commission for the whole month, for the whole period. You can enter each of the commission like one by one. It's not forbidden, but in order to keep your time, I suggest you just entering by the end of the period cumulatively those bank commissions. Bank costs in May. And we just calculate how much bank costs were in sum. So let's see. Those are our costs. So we get to 65. Okay. Okay, so this will be all USDs, and this rate will be the same here. And you see that it calculated the amount in euros automatically. Okay, so this is our report for the first period. Now we need to check what we have left in the end. So here you can see that this field for the first period is automatically filled out based on what we entered in this table. So this was our budget expenses, and these are our actual expenses. In the statement, we see that our closing balance at the end of the period is 54 USD. If we go to the page cash flow reconciliation, you will see that our residual is 54 USD in USD. But a part of USD, we know that we still have also remaining 2,000 euros, which we did not yet convert. So here we see that in USD we have 54 left, we have 2,000 euros left, and equivalent of the sum of both of these amounts is this amount. So here everything automatically is shown, and it's correctly because we need to compare this to the statement. So this is correct, 2,000, 2,000. If we go to the closing balance of the USD statement, we also see that here is 54 and here is also 54. Now, if we do the same thing for the next period, let's see what we get here and how we should do some of the things this time. So, okay, here once again, we purchased some stationery for the office, office procurement and supplies, stationery. We're going to make it a bit bigger. So once again, stationery for office. We paid for it 40 USD. And let's see what's happening in the bank statement. So we had 54 USD left. After we paid 40 USD for the stationery and bank commission, we are left with 9 USD. But we now know that we need to pay the communication fees for the staff, which is 30 euros. Like 40 euros equivalent, okay, not equivalent, sorry, but we need to pay 40 USD generally. But we don't have enough balance left on the USD account. So it means that we need to convert our remaining 2,000 euros. So we converted it on this day in order to pay our rest of the expenses. And we put this information on the conversion once again in this table with other information. So we put the date when we did this second conversion. We put the amount, how much did you convert, and we'll see that the rate now is 1.2 this time. So once again, it's USD. Okay, and we continue filling out our report. In order to keep up the consistency, and in order to be precise, I will make an input of this bank commission because this bank commission was paid at an old rate 1.1 this time. So here I will enter this bank costs for the one commission separately in order to keep up with the correct exchange rate. So it was 5, and we have here USD for the old rate. And then I have the new expense communication fee on the same date, but with the new rate already. So it will be utilities, office maintenance, figure, it will be communication, internet costs. It was once again 40, the same USD, but here I already put a new exchange rate, 1.2. And all the following expenses, I will be using this new exchange rate. So next we have what? Venue rental for the round table, which was on the 10th. So here it's an advocacy meeting with the local stakeholders. Here we choose the venue rental for the advocacy roundtable. Okay, space rent, the meeting, which costed us 150. Then we have the refreshments on the same date. Okay, it's same activity. So here we have refreshments. I think it's this line, but anyway. 350. Next, we have paid a fee to the meeting facilitator on the 20th. Fee to the meeting facilitator here. So value to the facilitator. I'd like to draw your attention why we choose why it was paid this amount here. So once again, if we know how much is it budgeted in euros, while contracting this person, we agree with this person that we will pay 160 euros at the rate at which we converted our tranche. So if we have a new conversion rate of 1.2, based on the term in the agreement with this facilitator, we get to this amount, 192. So that's why we have paid this amount. Next, again, we have the salaries here. In the description, we once again input that this is coordinator's salary for June this time. And Likewise, we did it previously. We have two lines because we have two separate payments. Separately, we pay to the person and separately we paid for the tax, which we indicate here in the description. And since we had, so in the euros, they have the same salary, but since we have a new rate, the amount in this second period will be different in USD. So it's 480 and the tax will be 60. Same applies to the accountant. Accountant salary for June. Accountant salary tax. So likewise, we put here those amounts. It will be 24. So now we have office rent here on the 30th, on the last day of the month. Office rent for June will be our detailed explanation, which is the same 400 as in previous period. Then we see that we have left this amount on our bank account, but we know that we have to pay to Facebook for the media promotion 320, and we are lacking like 12 USD. And let's say that we borrowed it from other sources, maybe other projects, or maybe you just made an input. Anyway, you borrowed this 20 USD and you have paid the advertisement on the Facebook. In scope of this awareness campaign activity, so promotion social media will be Facebook ad in June. You paid 120. And we now need to add the rest of the bank commissions here. So we remember that one of them we have already entered, so we just count how much is for the rest of the period, and it's 45. But what we see here so we need to fill out this part as well. So we see that we have in minus 9 euros. These are the amount that we borrowed from other sources. What we do in this case, because we need to end up with a zero here finally, we just take these lines and we show this as co-funding or co-financing. And we show this extra amount with the minus, like it will be minus 4 for this line and minus 5 for this line. Oh, please see. Should be like this. Now see, we see that it's 0. And once again, if we compare the final balance, we see that we have zero. Likewise, we have the zero here on the bank statements as well. So here on the USD statement, and here in the end, we have the zero on the euro statement as well. So this means that we have entered all the information correctly. If you have questions, you can ask if something was unclear, and I'll try to reply to them. Um, um, do you have any questions?
You can ask questions in chat or with the button Q&A. We're sorry, but you can't raise your hand. So can you type your question?
We will send you this record afterwards. So if you missed out anything while I was filling it out on the screen, so you anytime will have the opportunity to once again see this example and use it as a tool while you're reporting.
We have question in chat. Maybe you stop sharing the screen and can check the chat, because I'm afraid that I can, I don't know, read something wrong.
Okay, just a second. Okay, so we have one comment. We have not a question. That is
A
completely
question in the chat.
We don't have a practice bank and expenditure in cash basic. So can I use cash statement instead of bank statement? All the expenses should be conducted via bank payments. This is kind of one of the main requirements, because this ensures the transparency, first of all, and trustfulness of the expenses. There might be very exceptional cases for maybe one or two particular payments. If it's a payment to a physical person for the security purposes, of course, these such cash payments needs to be documented properly. And apart from the contract, invoice, and other related documents, there should be also proof of the payment, which is the document signed by both parties. And this document should show like date when the payment was made, the parties from who paid to whom, how much and what for, and the signatures of the both parties. But normally we do not use the cash payments. This is only on the exceptional basis. And normally, all the subrecipients have the bank accounts. If not the subrecipients, then their fiduciary or financial agents, if it's easier for understanding, who definitely have the bank account, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to receive the tranche itself. We are sending it to the bank account, which means that you or your fiduciary agent have this bank account. Okay, so Ho mentions that it's complicated and didn't understand some of the many of the things, but I advise you to read the instructions in the file itself, as I mentioned. Also, you will have the link to this recording, and then you once again can follow up how I made now this report. And of course, if it still will be unclear, you can write us and ask the questions, and we will try to guide you through the process. Every little expenses also need to do through the bank. It doesn't matter the size of the expense. Like any expense should be conducted through the bank payments and should be reflected in the bank statement. Yes. Any other questions? There will be no Russian translation. At least we do not consider it by now. In Russian language, you can see the instructions, the guidelines in the file itself. So the instructions are given in the very details. And if you read it carefully, I'm more than sure you will understand it. Otherwise, as mentioned before, you can write and we will try to help you. Mhm. Are there any other questions, maybe? Okay, so if there are no other questions, then let's finish it. Thank you all for the participating. I hope it will be useful for you when the time comes to the reporting. Let's keep in touch with all of you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
See you soon. Okay. Goodbye.